Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of the new releases from Agnostic, Front, Pupil Slicer, and Omnium Gatherum. So one band that we have covered on this channel before, and two that we have not. And I'm just going to start with the first album I listened to today, which is Fleshwork by Pupil Slicer. This is a band that I've heard the name many times, never really properly checked them out though, so this is my first time, jumping in, and I was surprised, to say the least.
Was it what you expected genre-wise?
Not really.
I have no idea what genre this band is. They're kind of unique.
They kind of like flirt between a few different things. I was kind of expecting them to sound like Peeling Flesh for some reason.
Pupil Slicer, Peeling Flesh. Yeah, you know what? They have a name that kind of evokes like a slam kind of band.
Yeah,
but they don't.
But they don't sound like that.
They don't sound like that.
That was just based on the name,
Yeah.
So going in blind, I guess I wasn't really prepared for anything, but it's like I hear all this background electronic and synth stuff. I'm like, okay, this is all pretty cool. And then I listened to a song like Gordia, and I'm like, whoa, okay, it's got like these cool syncopated riffs, an atmospheric chorus. Like, I'm liking this. And I'm thinking, man, this album's got a cool mix of everything in it. And this might be a weird comparison, but in terms of like the depth that there is on this album with like what they got going on, it kind of reminds me of the depth that was on the last 200 Stab Wounds album.
Okay, yeah.
Because that had a lot going on.
And cool ideas happening, yeah.
A lot to explore, right?
Yeah.
So, this album just hits like the right spots. Like, oh, this is cool, that's cool, this is cool. There's a sick drum transition from Innocence to Black Scrawl. I thought that was super cool.
Oh, the drum intro of Black Scrawl was sick.
Yeah, like,
love that.
That was awesome. The part of Nomad that sounds like a total absolute crash out, like, gave me like the post-hardcore vibes that I know I really, really like. So there's a lot to unpack with this album. It's got a mix of multiple things, but it's all in one fascinating, cohesive package. So I was pleasantly surprised by this record.
Yeah, like you, I've seen this band's name a few times here and there over the years, but never actually listened to them. So I tried to kind of prep myself. So I listened to their 2023 album. They might have had an EP between, but I'm not sure. So their 2023 album was called Blossom. I listened to that to kind of like warm myself up, and I didn't really like it. I got about halfway through it and I was like, I turned it off. And it made me a little bit nervous going into this. But I think maybe that was a good thing, because I put this on and I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty good. I'm actually kind of surprised right now. And I think the thing is this band is just very dynamic.
Yes.
They just throw a lot of things in there and it makes it work. And there's a lot of subtle things. There's a lot of interesting things. Like I mentioned genre at the beginning because I really don't know where to put them. Not that you have to or anything like that, but I was hearing things from metalcore to doom to shoegaze to, things that was reminding me of like Antichrist Superstar Marilyn Manson type of stuff. Like these just sounds in the background. I'm like, where have I heard that sound before? My brain's going through its filing Rolodex of memories, and I go, it's something from fucking Antichrist Superstar.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly, but
something similar.
It's something similar, right? I went, having that in this music, what a creative idea.
Yeah.
It's such a cool thing. So you mentioned a couple things that I already have notes on. The good syncopation in Gordian, that was awesome. Just stuff that keeps you on your toes. But the drum intro of Black Scrawl, I thought it was super cool. It's just very sporadic and chaotic, switching between like rolls and blast beats and rolls and blast beats, and then the song just goes wild. It kind of gets doomy near the end. Just really, really cool stuff. The screaming vocals, I'm not sure how I feel about them. A little bit on the screamo side of vocals rather than like a high harsh scream that you'd hear in like a deathcore band, for example. I'm a little bit iffy on that. The drums I just thought were awesome this time. The way the drummer was kind of just throwing in rolls and fills, like it felt like random times, but it was very cohesive. It was giving me kind of like Braun Daler kind of like energy, like the way he would just like throw rolls in all over the place, but make it sound really nice and tight.
Yeah, like his theory on that is what, at least in the early days, is he would basically just try to match what the guitar was doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that came out with a lot of his single stroke stuff.
But I remember the first time I listened to Mastodon, like just the first thought I had was this guy's just doing rolls all the time. Like he's just nonstop rolls. And I felt like that with this, not quite to that extent, but I felt like that type of energy was there. And I really liked that. I thought that was really fresh sounding. Yeah, overall, I was impressed. After going into it disappointed at listening to the last album, I was impressed with this. I thought Flushwork was pretty damn good.
It's always good when your bar for whatever reason is set low.
Yeah.
And then whatever you're listening to exceeds that. It's always like, wow, pleasant surprise.
Exactly.
And even like vice versa can happen. If the bar's super high and for whatever reason it doesn't reach, it feels like more of a disappointment than it probably really is.
Exactly.
So let's talk about May the Bridges We Burn Light the Way by Omnium Gatherum. This is a band we have checked out on the channel before twice. We did 2 first impressions of them. One for their 2021 album Origin, and then once for their EP in 2023 called Slasher.
And I don't remember either of those.
I don't really remember what they sounded like, but what this album sounded like is absolutely nothing like what I thought I remember.
Okay.
Because the title track starts, and I'm like, oh wow, this synth on top of this cool groove happening in 7. Like, okay, this is pretty proggy, and I'm like, oh man, this could have been a cool transition into a more developed version of the idea for the next track. I thought that's kind of where it was going. It didn't go there, but whatever, that's still pretty cool. So then My Pain starts, and I'm like, man, what the hell's happening? This sounds like Symphony X. I don't remember these guys sounding like this at all. And these harsh vocals, they sound cool, but maybe it was the Symphony X fan in me at first, because I'm like, okay, this sounds like Johan Hegg from Amon Amarth, but it kind of didn't feel like it fit. I'm like, I feel like I want to hear Russell Allen on this right now.
Yeah.
But we got some cleans on it anyway, which kind of reminded me of the clean style from Scar Symmetry. So then when that came into my head, I'm like, you know what? That's what this album is sounding like. It's reminding me a lot of Scar Symmetry, which I'm a big Scar Symmetry fan, so that's good in my books.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a sick combo of those two bands. That's what it reminded me of. The riffs were consistently cool. Oh, this is sick. Oh, this is gnarly. This is rad. The Last Hero has a fucking sick solo in it. There's a cool mini version of it that happens before it actually kicks in. Wild. And I noticed that a few times on the album. Oh, that's a sick solo. Oh, man, that's wild. There's a lot going on in this album. I don't remember them sounding like this at all. So I'd have to listen to the other, the last few stuff to remind myself what it was. But yeah, I was really not expecting it to go this way. 9 tracks in 40 minutes, but it felt like an hour in a good way. The closer is also an instrumental, by the way, which is oh god, cool bookend of instrumentals.
Yeah.
So I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I liked how the intro track was kind of just like an intro interlude kind of track, but it was also an instrumental. It felt like a proper instrumental, but it's less than 2 minutes, so it's a little bit on the short side in that regard. But yeah, like you, we covered this band before. I didn't really remember what they sounded like, but to me, my kind of draw to comparison for this band was that they kind of sound like an Iced Earth type of band. That's my kind of comparison. I think they're kind of in the same type of vein ballpark as that kind of power metal / heavy metal, but with some nice guitaring and stuff, other things woven in between. Like you, I was pretty impressed with this album. I thought it was a lot of fun. My biggest takeaway from it was the guitar work. I think there's a lot of really cool riffing on there. The solos are really good. Have I heard better? Yes, but there's a lot of consistently goodness on this album.
Yes.
I don't know if consistently goodness is a proper phrase, but I'm going to use it anyway.
It is now.
It is now. And, songs like Walking, Ghost Phase, and Ignite the Flame were 2 songs that actually stood out to me as ones where the guitaring was just really, really good. Track number 4, The Darkest City, I thought there was an interesting thing that happened. I was listening to it, and around the 4:15 markish, I heard this might sound weird, it sounded to me like somebody moving furniture. It sounded like somebody was moving furniture on a floor or something like that. So I kind of rewound it. I was listening closer, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and it sounded to me like a heartbeat being recorded through a stethoscope. It's you hear heartbeats a lot of times in music, right? People record or do a heartbeat kind of thing on the bass drum maybe.
Yeah.
This sounded like it was recorded through a stethoscope. You can listen to it again, and you'll find out it's about the 4:15 mark.
I'm just thinking how we got from moving furniture to heartbeat through a stethoscope.
It's not even an in time rhythmic part of the song. It's kind of out of rhythm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little bit of a syncopated thing going on. It's in the background. I almost thought that it was something that got caught in the background while they were recording.
Yeah.
They were recording their stuff and somebody in the background was moving something and it just happened to catch on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
That was my initial thought. But after listening to it again, I was like, no, I feel like this is intentional. But I was like, I kind of recognize the sound. What is it? And that's what the conclusion I drew was.
That's a cool idea, though. Yes, a heartbeat, but specifically a heartbeat through a stethoscope of what that sounds like. You know? I like that a lot.
I could be wrong, but that's what it sounded like to me. That's me doing my, and I'm a pretty poor detective, but that's me doing
I'd
my
have to pay
detective work.
attention to it to see.
Check it out and see what you think.
What my ear
But yeah,
thinks.
overall, super solid album. Had a lot of fun with it, and I would say pleasantly surprised.
So, Echoes in Eternity by Agnostic Front. As I'm feeling a little deja vu here, though I've seen this band's name a few times, but similar to Biohazard, I'm like, I never really checked them out at all.
You're slacking on the hardcore.
I guess I'm slacking on
hardcore punk.
the hardcore
Or
and crossover thrash.
Crossover thrash, yeah.
But yeah, similar situation. These guys are OGs, pioneers of crossover thrash.
Yeah.
And it's like, I looked at this and I'm like, okay, 15 songs, 27 minutes. I know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
okay.
Everything's just short and sweet.
Exactly.
To the point.
And it's cool because I put it on, and this is an album that came out in 2025. And I'm like, wow, I can feel like this is super old school. And I think a big part of it is the vocal performance, which does sound more along the lines of what you'd hear in like Suicidal Tendencies or like the Beastie Boys, like that kind of style of vocals, which I think is cool and also adds to the fact that these guys are OGs and still sound like OGs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this album, I found a lot of just cool kind of groovy sections that just kind of feel like fun jams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just like balls to the wall, angry, like the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is pretty cool, and I think that does kind of tap into the roots of how things eventually develop, right?
Yeah.
Like you can hear how you can make a connection from a band like this to, you know, obvious Godfather's predecessors, Black Sabbath, for example.
Yeah.
Like jams like that come out in music like this.
Mm-hmm.
But still these guys being pioneers of a genre and I suppose subgenre. So it's cool to see that connection even today.
Yeah, bands like this actually, like, they bridged a gap between essentially what was punk and what it became thrash. Bands like this are the bridge between those two genres.
Yeah.
And bands like this are important. They show the trajectory of music over time. And the fact that they're still doing this 25 years later, or 40 years later.
I think mid to late 80s.
I think early 80s, I think these came out.
80s at least.
Either way, like over 40 years probably. It's crazy that they're still doing this stuff and it still sounds, you know, like it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're doing what they do and they're doing it well. I had a lot of fun listening to this album. I thought it was great. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Agnostic Front. I've never got into them too much. I went, similar to Pupil Slicer, I went and listened to their last album, which was from 2019, called Get Loud. And I listened to it and I went, okay, this is a pretty fun band. I like it a lot. I like the music. I like the thrashiness of it. And the singing was a little bit on the mess side, but I warmed up to it quite quickly. Mm-hmm. I think it's fun. I think it delivers what it's supposed to deliver as far as this genre goes. The takeaways for me, Tears for Everyone. This is one of those songs that's really like much more on the thrashy side of it.
I like that one.
Really dug the grooves on the bridge section and the outro. Just really, I put it in the playlist. This is one of those ones I just went, yep, it's going in the playlist, easy. The track number 5, Divided. There's so much swagger to this song. I'd have to listen to it again to really like explain what I'm talking about, but that was the note I wrote, and I kind of remembering back thinking like, this song just like, it feels like it's got swagger or something. Like, what is it? Really cool stuff. Track number 11, Hell to Pay. Also another fun song. I really like the part where they're saying, it's not a part, it goes throughout the song, but they're saying like, fuck around, find out, kind of thing. Like, I don't know, I can't remember the exact rhythmic styling of it, but it's just a fun album. Like, this is one of those bands you put on. The songs are short, they're sweet. The whole album's less than half an hour. It gets the point across really fast. You have fun listening to it. It gets your energy going, and it does the job it's supposed to do. So a lot of fun, a lot of really good stuff from Agnostic Front here. I was pretty happy with that as well.
So with that being said, we did make the choice that for this upcoming week, we are going to listen to Omnium, Gatherum, and the album May the Bridges We Burn Light the Way for the entire week, and we will be back next week to review that album in full and give it a final score and rating. We'll see if these guys can make it on the list. This is our third time checking them out at all, but our first time reviewing them.
Right.
So we're going to go do that and listen to that album nonstop throughout the entire week and stay put because we will be back next week to review that album. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like this video if you liked it. Tell us in the comments below, what do you think of today's new releases? Is there anything we didn't cover today that you want to tell us about? Let us know in the comments and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
I'm Vile Self.
And keep the horns up.